Rockinitis.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Great to be back at Record Store Day. We are the Beladeans on this beautiful sunny afternoon. I'm going to play some music for you. Gentlemen on the drums, Mr. Rob Lord.
We love playing Record Store Day and a Car Free Day. Actually, we've played there too, which is kind of fun.
Yes.
When you set up out on the street, right on Main Street, and you get everybody walking by. That's a lot of fun.
Okay, let's play a cut off the CD, and we'll hear the first cut, which is called All the Time. And one of the times that I saw you guys, I heard this guy in the audience. He was 3 or 4 feet away from me. And he said, this group, the Beladeans, they've got a real stomping sound, he says. unquote.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that pretty much nails it.
Yeah, it does.
It's a stomping sound.
Yeah, the songs are short, they're usually 2.5 minutes, and they're just full of energy. And there's so much going on now with all the members. So it's, yeah.
Okay, let's listen to the Beladeans. This came out on Neptune Records, 2012. A tune called "All the Time." Now, you wrote this?
We all wrote it. Steve, my trumpet player, came up with the lyrics and most of the music. He usually does, actually, and then we kind of take it from what he brings in. We kind of go from there.
Okay, when you hear this, you'll know what I'm saying. You'll know what this guy in the audience was talking about when he said the Beladeans have a stomping sound.
Right on.
I hit the streets and run. Yeah, I'm getting ready. You gotta go with me. Well, I'll take you down to the city where you never been. Come on with me before I lose my mind. All my loving, all the time. I'll give you all my loving, all the time. Yeah. Woo. I'm getting ready. Now here we go. Through the darkened streets where the lights are low. I'm getting ready, yeah. You gotta go with me. Well, I'll show you things that you've never seen. Come on with me before I lose my love. All my loving, all the time. I'll give you all my loving, all the time. Yeah, that's right. All my loving. I'm getting ready, 'cause here I come, well, there's no time to waste, I hit the streets and run. I'm getting ready, you gotta go with me, well, I'll take you down to the city, where you've never been. Come on with me before I lose my mind. All my loving, all the time. I'll give you all my loving, all the time. Yeah. All the time, 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 all the time.
Now, that organ in the context of the tune, All the Time, by Gord,
Yeah.
that really adds a lot to the tune.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, the whole band is, like, you guys used to be good, but now you're great.
Well, thank you, sir.
I mean, that
I paid him to.
the couple of additional members have really expanded the focus of the group.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Gord really adds a lot to
Yeah,
it.
he does. That's the killer sound of his ace tone organ that he's playing.
Actually, he's a Facebook friend of mine, and I saw the whole process of how he was ordering this special keyboard from the States.
Right, yeah. It's
And
quite
the
a
guy
process.
wouldn't mail it because he was afraid it would get wrecked in the post service. Like he was afraid the postal service would ruin and crush it or something like that. Well, in other words, he doesn't really want to sell it.
That's right.
Because once he sells it, what does he care what happens?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gord's got quite a collection of organs, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, and also, Mel, you were saying when I was playing there, you were telling me that Mel designed the cover of.
Yeah, the cover and the back cartoon and the cover. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, great stuff. And some of the other cuts on it, like I like it when you guys, you're one of the few groups around, local groups around, that actually does instrumentals, and great instrumentals. I particularly like the one Gezerra. Now, what is the title significant?
That's Ben Gazzara, the actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's like a tribute.
Yes, that's actually one of Steve's favorite actors, and he passed away recently.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was kind of just a tribute to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, great stomping sound once again.
Right on, yeah.
So let's go with Gezerra, which is the fourth track on the EP, which was released a little while ago by the Beladeans. Gezerra, let's do it.
Right on.
Have to press the start button.
Yeah.
Now that is a real great commercial sound. I mean, that could be the theme music of a TV series.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or it could be the theme music of a great movie or whatever. It's just got a sound that it's like anthem quality to it. And that's one of the things I like about your group. Now, originally you were a four-piece, and there's Mel, the sax player in the center, the only woman in the group. And it's basically had a slightly thinner sound. Is that
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
unfair? Or,
No.
Yeah. Anyway, it was great, or it was good, but now it's great
Well,
with
it
the
was-
expanded lineup.
That CD, that was recorded in one afternoon. We recorded about 22 songs in a row, live, all
Okay.
live. And I did the vocals actually in Steve's apartment.
Okay. Now
Afterwards.
Steve is
Steve's our trumpet player.
this guy here,
Yeah.
right here.
The genius of the band.
Yeah. And he is kind of a genius.
He is, a
Because,
musical-
like, I've gotten to know him personally, and he works on side projects and does home recordings
Yeah.
in a little studio that he has in his apartment.
And they're all really, really
and
good.
they're surprisingly
Yeah, they're
good.
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve's also, he's a guitar player in the Liquor Kings, which is a local punk rock band that are really good. And he's the bass player in Big Top, which is more of an instrumental
I've yet to
kinda-
see them,
they're
but
excellent.
I intend on
Big Top
seeing
or
them.
Scott McLeod is the main guitar player. He's actually joined us on stage a few times because he's a big fan of the Beladeans as well, and he's a great guy.
Anyway, one thing I like about your group is like when you think about groups, you know, that the classic rock groups of all time, you know, you can kind of look at each guy in the group, like the Beatles, for instance. You can look at each guy and you can visualize the personality to go with the face, like you actually know them.
All right.
Well, I feel like that about the Beladeans. I mean, I sort of feel like each person in the group has a strong personality, and I feel like I kind of know them and can kind of relate to them.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, because I've always felt that way with the band. I always say, I mean, we are definitely like a small family because number one, there's so many. There's 6 of us. Plus, if we do a show, you know, everyone's boyfriend or girlfriend comes along. So then all of a sudden, there's 12 of us. So it's really become a family, and we do events together. We go camping. We do all sorts of things. It's a really fun.
You go camping?
Yeah, we go camping. Yeah.
Whoa.
I got a lot of stories about that, but they're X-rated, so we'll wait for another show.
Next song is entitled One Bit Julep. One Bit Julep. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was One Minute Julep. I don't know if they serve those here, but if they do, a round for everyone. Let's charge it to that man over there. Another true story. This song is called Snake-Eyed Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
My name is Nikki Hill, and you're watching Michael Willmore's Rockinitis.
Okay, so there's only one more cut on the CD, Alma Dukes.
Right.
So what can you tell me about Alma Dukes?
Alma Dukes was there's a local I'm infatuated with New Westminster mainly because I live there, but there's a local paper there called Piffle. It's a little kind of a neat little paper there, and a guy wrote a story all about this street gang called the Alma Dukes, which existed in the early '50s in Vancouver, and apparently they were a real tough bunch of thugs that would go around and push people over and steal old ladies' purses and that type of thing.
Oh no! They were that bad?
Yeah,
were
I think so. Yeah. So if there's any Alma Duke members watching this program,
because I used to know this guy
me.
100 years ago. His name was Jim Bradley, a red-haired guy. Anyway, he was always talking about this guy Eddie, and this Eddie was like, you know, the epitome of the coolest guy. Like he was like the James Dean of our imagination. Anyway, I met Eddie one night, and Eddie came over and he had a Harley Davidson and he had a leather jacket. And the only reason Jim Bradley was hanging out with me, he was like 6 years older than me, but was because Eddie had gotten married, but he was still cool. So anyway, this Eddie came over one night and he was cool. Anyway, and he says, "Oh, Eddie," he says, his uncle was in the Alma Dukes. That's the only time I've ever heard about them.
Wow.
So so Eddie's uncle was in the Alma Dukes,
Very
and
cool.
Eddie was kind of like, you know, son of the uncle.
wannabe Alma Duke. Almost.
Yeah, and he had a leather jacket, had
Yeah.
some studs on it,
Yeah.
and he drove a Harley, you know, and he was like Mr. Cool, and I was kind of impressed. Anyway, it's always stuck in my mind.
Well, it's a neat name too.
Yeah.
It's catchy. It's a
Yeah.
catchy name.
Were they actually from Alma?
But yeah, they
Like
were.
from Lower Dunbar?
Right.
Oh, they were?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, cool. So we'll hear that song then, Alma Dukes, and this will be the tune, I guess, that we'll go out with.
Excellent.
So thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you for having me back again. Yeah.
Been a pleasure
We'll
once
do it
again.
again.
So we'll go out with the Alma Dukes by the Beladeans. Gotta press the button again.
Let's hear from the Alma Dukes, young bunch of punks with the hurt on you. Everybody's gonna be there, nobody knows what to wear. Making out in the park at night, getting ready for a hell of a fight. Big Johnny and the boys can play with a gang like this that calls your name. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes, everybody wants to be like you. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes, young blood woman in a birthday suit. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes, everybody wants to be like you. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes. Walking down the Columbia Strip, looking for a wimp that's gonna get whipped. Big Johnny and the boys can play, everybody wants to be that way. Stealing cars on a Saturday night, knocking over mailboxes, oh what a sight. Today might be the day with a gang like this that calls your name. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes, everybody wants to be like you. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes, young blood woman in a birthday suit. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes, everybody wants to be like you. Duke, Duke, Alma Dukes. Woo!
My guest was Mike Guild. In a previous episode of Rockinitis, I showed this picture of Mike's wife, Tara Guild. She thought it was funny and even pretended to be embarrassed, but hey, if you can be a provocateur and embarrass your friends once in a while for the purposes of entertainment, doesn't that make life worthwhile? Take it, Tara.
So he was on TV and she was
I'm losing my voice. I'm losing
No,
my voice.
he broke into my Facebook and found a fantastic picture.
I've seen the picture. Your light is traveling.
Oh! Oh, you dropped it. Where is it now?
It's in my, no. It shall relaunch. Anyway, he exploited me. And
I'm doing a close-up now.
you better not. And if, you better stop him. See, Rob is here to protect me. Because he's broke into my Facebook and he took a very racy photo that I thought was secured, but apparently it was not.
Are you guys coming tomorrow?
I hope so. Good night, Willmore. Good night, Willmore.
Rockinitis.